Oh shit, the ambiance kicks in too, and then you know it's real. Welcome back in, everybody. Tuesday night AMA. Adam's already in the sauce.
Yes, sir, man.
Hope everybody is doing great. This is going to be a prayer session. This is going to be a support group for all of us, Breece Hall, and not so much, but so much DK Metcalf truthers. What a bad week. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. How are you? Listen, what happens on the field and what happens in our leagues, it's part of the craziness. But I'm still here to talk to you guys. I'm here with Mike, drinking. Could it get any better? Come on, Mike.
Nah. It can't. I love the people. I love the Tuesday night AMA, getting to chop it up, kind of off script. Adam, running backs again. Sucks for us.
Listen, if we're going to talk about this, right? In case you want to know, it's a staple around here, right? Sazerac Rye. That's what we're drinking. And if we're going to talk about this, I need to pour up a little more, man, because
I'm waiting for that sponsorship, right? The Sazerac Rye sponsorship for you, big guy.
Yeah,
right?
we need to get Buffalo Trace on board, man. But let's talk about this, man, because I was gonna say this on the recap show, Mike, and it had just happened, and we only had a few minutes to get all of our thoughts out of recapping. But I thought about this like right after the injury, and this is the reality I think that we have to realize, right? Like the running back position has not been doing well this year, by and large. Just hasn't been. We already had injuries to the position.
Yeah,
there was a lot of You listen to people that are tapped in right now, and the narratives are, running backs already not doing well. So then we have Breece Hall emerge, and we have Kenneth Walker emerging at the same time. And it was early, it was kind of ahead of schedule for where you typically would expect second-round running backs to go, as far as on the contending side. So that was like the one thing that gives the running back, hopefuls and truthers, like, all right, the young running backs, though, they're smashing, right? So 23 class comes in, 24 class comes in.
Yeah.
So, like, when Breece Hall runs that 64-yard touchdown, you're thinking, if he can continue what he's doing right here, running backs, the youthfulness and the resurgence, it could be there. I'll tell you what happened, though, Mike. In the same breath that running back might have been helped and pushed up the board by Breece Hall, him getting the ACL and out for the season, I think completely flips everything on its head. And because now, here's the thing, right? You only had two with really good draft capital, and Pierce is absolutely making the case as well. But the young guys that were mattering and helping you, and the fact that the one that was probably the Dynasty RB1, everyone's kind of hanging their hat on, like this is the guy you're wanting, tears his ACL. Like you now have basically running backs underperforming, running backs getting old, and all the running backs you want getting hurt all at once. So, like, I think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back for the majority of the community, and I think that this is something that honestly, like, basically puts the nail in the coffin for the majority of gamers, how they look at the position of running back and value them moving forward. And I think the discussion now isn't really if that's going to be the case. It's going to be, what do startups look like? Do running backs become a value at some point? And like if you're a wide receiver truther, your strategy that's probably been working out nice for you the last couple of years, like that's not going to be as easily done if they're getting pushed way up the board.
So the first thing, I mean, this has come in for a couple of years now, and I've been a staunch one pushing back against it.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, I will say this: running backs and wide receivers, right? We have this great debate about these two. And the one thing that always seems to stick in your mind is, right, because Breece Hall, we see him go down with an ACL.
Right.
And it's devastating to so many of us who were starting to rely on him or enjoying the success he was having. Adam, I can say this, man. For every team that I have a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, if they go down with an ACL this week, I'm just as fucking devastated, right? I've spent just as much draft capital. I've spent just as much time and effort into it, and they've been such an integral part of my team that it hurts. Now, the difference is because there's so many wide receivers, subconsciously we always just kind of write it off like running backs are the only ones who can get injured, or the running backs are the only ones who can devastate your fantasy team. We've seen it all year, not with the wide receivers, but also the quarterback position, right? Dak going down and being out for how long hurt. People who are relying on Tua, him being out, hurt. People who are thinking Mac Jones was a safe quarterback too are finding out after last night that sucks, right?
Yeah.
These things hurt. It just always feels like the running back has this negative black cloud over it. I think the one thing that I will say, though, that has opened my eyes is the fact if a running back goes down, their shelf life is so much shorter in general, in not in actual production, because we did a show about it, right? We kind of proved that running back versus wide receiver production, wide receivers are productive so much longer than running backs. It's mostly bullshit, right? Some of it is the 2017 class has skewed those numbers, but historically, if you look over time, man, the running backs usually produce just about as long as the wide receivers. It's just in Dynasty, which we base everything off of, is value, right? Dynasty value. The shelf life for Dynasty value for running backs is much shorter than wide receivers, period.
No
question about it.
Yeah, no question.
No question about it. So I think I can acknowledge, at least with the running backs versus wide receivers, if Jamar Chase goes down, his shelf life doesn't get, blasted as far as his dynasty value, because I'm not thinking Jamar Chase is only going to be around for 3-4 years, right? I'm thinking 5, 6, 7, 8 years of Jamar Chase as an elite wide receiver asset. Breece Hall, on the other hand, he misses a year where now you start doing the finger counting, like, well, what's he worth next year? And then if he explodes next year, then he's going into year 3 after that. And then after year 3, it's year 4. After year 4, I'm going, pour one out. Your dynasty value is starting to get in the shitter. Get the fuck off my team, right? We're doing the same thing right now with Jonathan Taylor. People talking about where is he going to be in 23? He's going to be going into year 4, dynasty value, all this kind of shit. I get that, and that has opened up my eyes. But I always got to kick it off, because I always hear the wide receiver and the running back thing. Well, injuries suck, period. It doesn't matter, except for kickers. I mean, nobody plays with kickers. Nobody gives a shit. But,
yeah, for sure.
But you know what I mean? Like, it always feels like a bigger kick in the nuts for the running back, even though it shouldn't.
Right.
It shouldn't, because, one of these elite studs anywhere else goes down, you have similar draft capital investment. You paid similar amounts in a trade to go get these guys, or whatever it may be. It still hurts. So
yeah, and let me, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and put Adiko's startup here. So let me just say this, man. The one thing that really I think is making things tough is when you look at the majority of these startup picks, man. Like, dude, I'm telling you, man, the running back position right now, whether you're right or wrong, like, you're looking at all the wide receivers, man, so far. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was one that didn't get hurt, but you're thinking, right, the quarterback injury was going to affect him. It didn't, right? A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Adams. Literally all those wide receivers healthy. And even when Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson haven't smashed every week, they've given you the boom weeks. So, like, I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, because you're right. Because then you go to the next guy. It's T. Higgins, right? T. Higgins has been in and out of the lineup. He's been hurt. Michael Pittman doesn't have a good quarterback, and DK Metcalf got hurt. But the point is, man, I think for people, this narrative is about as insanely true and right as you're ever going to see it. So, right or wrong, this is where things are at. And I think the point, that's why I wanted to start the show off with that, and we're going to get into questions next, but I think now, man, you got to be really cognizant of the rest of the year. Like, the running back values are toast. They're just toast. Like, it's the reality.
What I think could be a good thing in the future, especially for us, right? I hate to admit it. I hate doing this fucking show about running backs being dead and the value coming, the whole thing, man. I'm a running back guy. I've been a running back guy for the longest time.
What are we supposed to do?
It sucks to admit, but the one silver lining I can say is I'm looking at 2023 with everything that's going on, and, I'm a part of it. We're doing a fucking show about it, is the fact that if everybody chases wide receivers next year, right? And the play is you don't take the Jonathan Taylor, you don't take the DeAndre Swift, right? You don't take these guys in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the shit going like, bro, like I'm gonna get a Najee Harris in like round 4, right? The dead zone of running backs.
Right.
I'm gonna get this dude in round 5. I'm gonna get this dude in round 6. Like if I wait and I'm in the back half of the second round, like the running backs that could be available in the back half of the second round of a startup, like who's going to be there and where they're presently being valued, I honestly think I can clean fucking house next year in the running back position. Now, maybe with my first or second pick in a startup, I'm not hammering running backs like I was in the past.
Correct.
Right? I'm not going to chase, but I'm going to lean into the quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Well, you're going to chase. You're going to Jamar Chase.
I'm going to Jamar Chase, right? I'm going to Jamar Chase, yes. But I'm looking at then what goes forward. You know, if people are really pushing these running backs down, like I am more than comfortable pushing the button in rounds 3, 4, 5 on these guys. And it's a little bit of a flip in strategy for us where in the early rounds we're taking the running backs and then hammering the wide receivers in the mid rounds, which if you pick the right running backs, right, and you've dodged the injury bug, your teams are still doing fucking phenomenal, right? Because a lot of those mid-round wide receivers are smashing.
If you have Barkley, if you have Chubb, if you got Walker, even if you got Aaron Jones, who was going like 5th, 6th round, right? You're feeling good about those guys. But obviously, man, it's just you hit so many landmines early this year. Najee Harris's injury while he's playing is killing you. Christian McCaffrey, we'll see. He got a new team, but he's been good, but he hasn't been old CMC. Breece Hall just got the injury bug, even though he was smashing. Joe Mixon's getting crazy volume, not performing. DeAndre Swift hasn't played since week 2. Javonte Williams out for the year. Akers was without a team essentially. It's a lot of scary shit at the running back position this year. So
it's going to be interesting too with this class coming in as far as startups go, Adam. How many people buck the trend and still take Bijan with premium draft capital there in the first round of a startup? How many people take a Jahmyr Gibbs, in the early part of a second of a startup? And then if Kenneth Walker continues to smash, like, does he make the conversation in the first round? And is all this being overblown and we're just actually shuffling fucking names at positions, right? The running back's dead. And then all of a sudden we put all these new ones up there in the exact same fucking spots we were drafting the old ones.
I have a strong feeling, man, you're going to see startups look different next year. I really do. Okay. Now here's what I'll say. And we talk about this a lot, and this is a 4D thing that we talk about constantly, is when startup values and rookie pick values are the discrepancy is very big. That means typically a player is over or undervalued, right? So one thing I'm very interested to see with the 23 class being so heavily running back, like it's top heavy with running backs, right? You got 6 running backs right now. You're talking about first round picks currently. Now, maybe that changes with all the narratives that's going to happen with running back. But point is, if you see Bijan go 101 or 102, but you see he's not going to go till round 2 in startups, round 3, that means there's a big correlation gap. Or if you're using a first round pick mid to late on Tank Bigsby, but he's not going till the 8th round, 9th round, right? Like, those are the things I think you need to be cognizant of, which ultimately, to Mike's point, is strategy will change in startups. Like, you're not going to be smart to take running backs in the first 2 rounds just because nobody is. Doesn't matter what you think or believe, market doesn't tell you to do it. So you're going to now have to think 4th round, 5th round, like, let me get some of these running backs that I think are values there. Even if it's only a couple of them, load up on quarterbacks, grab your, good receivers and stuff. But yeah, man, this, I think the Breece Hall is the nail in the coffin as far as the debate. Like, it's just the shift is real now,
Like we fucking needed anything more. Like we needed any more. Thanks, fantasy gods.
That being said, we used 15 minutes. Let's get to questions. We wanted to update everybody and admit what's going on. So Patty Mills, would you move A.J. Brown for A.J. Dillon in a late 23 and 24 first? 1 quarterback, full PPR. I'm 1-5 and looking for the future. If you're looking for the future, or right now you don't want A.J. Dillon.
One QB makes those picks suck.
I was going to say, man, in Superflex, I'm pretty much okay with that. One quarterback.
I'm divesting from one asset, even though it's A.J. Dillon, but I'm looking at the first, and especially the one in 24. I mean, you look at it as late right now, but, and maybe he didn't mean to type, maybe it's just a generic 24 first, and I'm inferring that one's going to be 24, but you have so many. I love that fucking class, but you have so many options for that team to be dog shit,
right?
In the next 2 years, or suffer some devastating fucking injuries like we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon that 24 first is looking like Trevion Henderson or fucking Braylon Allen or whoever. Insert one of these stud quarterbacks to a Drake May. In one QB though, Adam, I don't know if I can do this.
I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do that.
So.
Nah. I need more. I would say this. I need the piece that goes with the first to be much better than A.J. Dillon here.
Granted, I mean, there's some depth in this class, especially in 23 in the second round when we look at like Superflex drafts that I'm interested in right now. And we still don't have those like combine risers and that kind of shit. But still, when I look at it, man, you get the quarterbacks and you get some running backs. And the wide receivers don't inspire a fuck ton of confidence for me. Like, there's a handful that I'm interested in, but in general, it's kind of a disappointing class for wide receivers. So if in a 1 QB league, man, you take out all the quarterbacks, it makes those late first just not that appealing, especially for a guy like A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown's too good. And late first in one quarterback, they're good assets, but they're just not anywhere near A.J. Brown. And you're looking at, second round picks in Superflex. And there's just no way in the world you could get me to take A.J. Dillon in 2 early seconds for fucking A.J. Brown. I'm just not going to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm passing on that one, Patty.
Easy. He was just commenting. Yeah, Ryan knows what's up. All right, Benjamin Paul. We're going to try to catch up with these guys. 12-team Superflex. We're back to Superflex, Mike. It's where we're comfortable. Running back and stuff.
That's where I feel good.
Juju. Give Juju, get a 23 late second and late third. I don't think so unless it's best ball. And even then, I think I'm good.
No, I'd rather have Juju. I think he's worth more than that.
Would you do a 23 second if you're rebuilding? Early
23 second from rebuilding? Fuck yeah. Yeah, you could have Juju then.
I think
even my Juju love has limits, Adam.
Well, that's
even then.
I wanted to say early first, but I didn't. So yeah, the big difference here is late and early. Second round, late and early are massive. If you could find a way to find someone else that's going to give you, what about a mid 23 second, Mike, and a late third, or a mid third?
Mid 23 second and a late third.
What about a mid and a mid? Mid 23 second, mid 23 third.
Mid and a mid on a rebuild, I'd think about it just to get Juju off, right?
There you
get
go.
The points off my team.
There you go.
I don't think he's like a foundational piece, but let's not kill the guy, right? A late second, late third.
That's too far. I'm with dude. I don't even like Juju like you do, and I'm with you 100%. So
I'm good, man. You go find your wide receiver 3 somewhere else because you ain't getting it for that.
Dynasty Alex, good question.
No,
Mike. You know what's funny, man, is I really, we got crushed for the deal we made. I still like the deal that you and I made quite a bit for myself, no matter what anyone says. But the one thing when we worked the back end of that deal, right, and I was like, here's Watkins for a third. You're like, what would it take to get Campbell? And I made you throw in Mechie. God, I wish I wouldn't have given you Campbell. I really don't. That was the one piece, actually, that I don't like.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's probably done now with Sam fucking Ellinger playing quarterback.
Well, what's funny is that's the segue now. Is this continuing with Ellinger? I don't actually think so. I don't know. But I'll say this, Mike. Like, Matt Ryan was horrible this year, dude.
He's been horrible.
Honestly, it was to me, that was one of the more surprising things, was how bad he looked. Like, I didn't expect him to be old Matt Ryan, but I did not expect him to be fucking dude, he's been terrible, bro. Horrible.
How many quarterbacks can you think of offhand, though, that were bad in college that went on to be good in the NFL?
Bad? See, okay, so that's the thing. Bad, I don't know. Like win-loss record, passing stats, what are we talking?
Just bad at playing quarterback in college, right?
Okay, because I was going to say, like, Mahomes didn't win shit in college, but...
Like, Sam Ellinger was a shittier version of Tim Tebow Just happened to play in the state of Texas.
Yeah. Ellinger is someone I don't expect to be very good.
Maybe he's wowing in practice. I don't fucking know. I'm not part of the Colts organization, but I saw this and I'm like, no matter how bad Matt Ryan, this is your best option.
Well,
Sam Ellinger.
Let me say
like Matt Ryan better be fucking dead, or I only have one leg before I'm going to Sam Ellinger.
Let me say one thing about football and the whole situation first, and then I want to get to the question so we can move on. What I found the most interesting about this entire thing is so Frank Wright is on the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
Frank, like, think about this for a second real quick. This should make you really think what the hell's going on, because if you're Frank Wright and you're on the hot seat, like, you're not going to turn it over to Ellinger. Like, you're going to find a way to figure out a way to win games. Like, you're fighting for it's the R. Kelly thing. I'm fighting for my fucking life, Like, you're about to get fired.
This feels like when McAdoo benched Eli for Geno Smith. Now, this isn't Seahawks Geno Smith. This year, this is past Geno.
Is this when they put Tyrod down on the bench for Nathan Peterman?
That could be that bad too, right?
I mean, but
gonna sit you down.
My only thing is there like more safety for Frank Wright than we thought? Like, to me, it makes more sense to say, like, listen, we know we're not going to win this year. This team's not good enough. Just put Ellinger in. Let's see if we have anything. We probably don't. And then we're going to rebuild for next year, because we haven't rebuilt for forever. We keep trying to get these Band-Aid quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. Like, let's stop doing the stupid shit that's not working. Interesting points all the way around. To this question, I don't think the targets are sustainable at all.
It is a best ball league, so I do have some hope, right? Where I don't have to start him. And also he's kind of that big play kind of guy too. So he may only get 2 fucking targets, but he may take one of them 50, 60 yards for a touchdown. So,
yep.
But the actual target volume, no. I think Sam's going to be running quite a bit, and he's not good at football when he does throw.
Well, Shoko, you are in the right place, because while we weren't right about running backs and we were trying to push up running backs with warts, rebuilding, we got you covered, buddy. It's time to face the music. It's time to rebuild. 10-team, PPR Superflex start 10. Sent Zeke for Bell, a 23 third and a 23 fourth. Oh, my goodness. I wouldn't have done that. It's too low. That's David Bell, right?
In a 10-team, too, only start 10. Like, how many times are you ever going to push the button on David Bell?
What is Zeke worth to you right now, Mike, in your opinion? Not to you, like in the community. Second?
I'd say second, probably mid-second. I don't think you're paying an early second for him just because of the age. And
you're getting a third, you're getting a fourth. Like, I think, this is one of those where the quantity of those assets doesn't make up the mid-second. So, like, I can understand why someone might do this. And listen, Shoko, like, there is a point where you just want to get points off your roster. But,
yeah,
like, I would have wanted something a little north of this. But he says, I got Watson, so praying for a miracle. At the very least, I can package the picks. Now, that's the thing. Like, if you know your league and you can move picks later, like, that's something I don't really have as league dynamics. But
for sure,
based on the value of the things, those picks and the player generically, I want the Zeke side. But I'll also say this, Mike. Zeke's one of these guys that I think with running back values dying, like, it's going to be you're going to be hard pressed to actually find someone that wants Zeke. As crazy as that sounds,
For this price, I want Zeke.
Oh, well, I do too. I'm just saying, like, there's probably
I want all the Zeke.
There's probably with everything going on, people are like, why would I want Zeke? He's old.
I'm gonna go fucking do some shopping after we get off here and see what the Zeke price is. Let's find out.
Dynasty Alex, I wore this for you. I did. This is listen, man, if we're going to go to the funeral and admit what's going on, let me put my Swift jersey on. I had a whole slew of them I could have chosen, but I gave you Swift. I knew Alex would want that.
Fuck it.
Here we go. Arby's will become a value. This feels cyclical. For Arby's have been terrible and everyone freaks out. I'll say this, like, we've seen this happen before. Kind of talked about it a little bit when Mike was out with Scott, how running backs have had their down peak. It's been a while, but like the one thing that does fit the narrative to where this could get further than it's ever been, to where the first point of Jeremy's point here is crazy. RBs could become even more of a value. Is the rate the ones are being utilized today seems like as a whole is that running backs are not being utilized the same way. So the combination with running backs not being utilized the same way and they're getting hurt and not performing, like it feels like we could hit something we've never seen with wide receivers pushed up the board, which Jeremy's right. Then RBs become a value. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think we're on the trend of RBs becoming a value. Just you can only push up the wide receivers so far before you start drafting shittier wide receivers over actually good running backs.
Holy shit. Let me say this. T-Rock, yeah, I didn't put that on the board for you to see. I know you fucking can't see, but Mike, holy shit, we got 30 people right now, which is our most ever at once.
Thank you.
So T-Rock, I don't care if you can see. I got other people to look out for, all right? So
get out those binoculars.
Yeah, man.
Spectacles.
Paying for the Savage here, but you're out in the fucking bleeders. What do you want me to do,
Scoot closer.
Yeah, so here we go. Has Ramondre taken the job, or is Harris still healing?
Yes.
Can I answer it this way?
Can I answer that I don't fucking know?
Okay, let me answer it this way. Any team, any of the other 31 teams, yes.
100%. 100% other than San Francisco. If this happened on San Francisco too, because he's fucking weird.
Here's the difference. I think even in Frisco, he would have taken the job. Just that you can't guarantee that he'll keep it because of injury. Or
there you go. Okay, fair enough. Yes.
The one thing is, this is literally the team to where it wouldn't like. Yes, I think Ramondre should have the job. I think it's clear that he should be the running back one. And Hoodie said similar things. A lot of people have. So like, I think the answer should be yes. But if there is a team that's going to go back to Harris and relegate him to an RB2 role one day, it's New England.
If there is, right? They can't even figure out the quarterback spot.
I mean,
I don't know.
Mike, real quick on that. Like, the way I saw that is they were pushing, and it seemed like there was back and forth where they were pushing Mac to come back too soon. And he was pushing back like, I don't want to come back that soon. And then it seemed like when he went out there, like that pick, dude, this is a guy that doesn't feel comfortable at all being on the field and just threw one up for grabs. And then you pull him out. Like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing, dude? It's so stupid.
I don't know. I don't know why the fuck he was out there if he wasn't ready. But
I'm trying to find a question because,
Bill is Bill. Bill's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Rojo Fish. Hey, Rojo Fish. Jamar Chase is looking pretty damn good. I still wouldn't have liked it, but you are feeling way better about your trade, and you probably are laughing at our dumbasses. So just get that out of the way first. Guy offered me Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. That's a hell of a stack for a 23 first, 24 first. Whoa, 325 first. Currently in third place. Team is stacked, but my QB play is killing me. Rodgers, Stafford, Zach Wilson, Winston. I'm tempted to do the trade. So let me ask you this, man. I have a lot of questions.
Like Les Snead said, fuck them picks.
Is this best ball?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but like I'm trying to figure out like how the hell did you get 325 first too? Like this one's impressive. Hilarious to me.
That's impressive. You got two people to send them extra 25 picks. Just like fuck these picks.
So best ball, Mike. You'll send 5 first for Hurts AJB stack.
I'm sitting in third, and this is my quarterback room. Mm-hmm. Rodgers, Stafford, Zach Wilson, and Winston isn't even fucking playing. Right? And I'm already in third.
I get you.
Not only am I getting a game changer at the quarterback position. Right. We need to start talking about Jalen Hurts in that elite upper echelon for sure. Like he needs to be mentioned in the same breath as Joe fucking Burrow. Right. I don't know if he's.
Here, let me put this ahead of. Let me put this T-Rock thing ahead of Mike.
Like how he just glosses over AJ Brown.
Like AJ Brown doesn't fucking carry huge weight with the wide receiver push. No, but I'm just saying like the 25 picks. I think. Make this feel
I can
great.
justify this with AJ Brown for the 2 firsts. Okay. And then you're telling me
So
I
what if
gotta
it?
trade three
Let's say
firsts for a quarterback. Okay, I'm thinking like they're gonna be good ones. Nah, fuck it, man. They're in 2025. Like I'm already in third with this dog shit QB room. Fucking give me a stud wide receiver and his stud ass quarterback to go with it. Fuck those 25 picks. You can have them.
All right. Listen, let's say it was 3 24s and 2 23 firsts.
Now it's a lot more where I'm like, God, it feels like a lot to pay up. I think I'm still doing it.
Okay. Well, and I wanted to get the answer out of you. Yeah. Now, what if it's 5 23s? What if you had the whole leverage thing going on?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't.
Right. Okay, because I think that is something that I wanted you to answer those questions to illustrate that there's a big difference.
It is. Because you put those – we did that episode where we talked about 25 first, right, where you just devalue them a little bit because they're so far out and so much shit can change and you have so many opportunities to get those picks back. If it's literally next year in 23, or even if it was 5-24 first because of the outlook of what that class is going to be, I think that's a no. I think that's my breaking point where I go no. Now, if you go 3-2, 2-3,
right,
23-24, like we teeter just a little bit where I'm on the yes side.
All right, because
you put them out in 25, that's 100% yes.
Well, because this is why I think the answer is a resounding yes for me. Is in the average league, 25 picks are harder to move. Like people that they just have a hard time moving picks that far out because nobody knows what's going to happen in 25 by and large. So, one, the fact that you've accumulated 3 25s is kind of impressive to me, and you're in third place. So, obviously, this is a guy that's in Heisman. He's tapped in. 2, if these are earlier, like I think that I could move them for different things in best ball. Like I think if it's a 23 or a 24 first, like I think I could find somebody that will take them as valuable. I think the problem is, more often than not, people aren't going to value 25 first appropriately. So if you're contending and you're in the situation like this to do it, I'm doing it.
I look at it too, man. The reason I say it doesn't matter if it's best ball or lineup for me is just because of the importance of having elite quarterbacks in best ball and the advantage it gives. And he literally has none of them. So to get one of those guys means a fucking world to him.
I think 5-20. To answer the final question, Rojo, I think 5 first for those two players in best ball is top dollar. But the fact that there's 3 of them in 25, and based on what you told me, like I'm way more than comfortable. I don't think it's too much, but I do think you are paying a decent price for him.
That's fair.
Here we go, JB. Because JB was on our pod when Breece was healthy, and we asked him a couple times. No. He has to come back and ask us, is Bijan RB1 yet?
No.
Who is, Mike? Is it JT still?
Still Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Listen, man, you just saw a guy that we absolutely love that we had zero injury concerns about tear his fucking ACL. Who's to say that doesn't happen to Bijan between now and before he ever steps on an NFL field?
Absolutely true.
I'm not doing this shit. This is why I always say the draft pick is always worth more than the projected player at that slot. And it's not fucking close.
I agree with that part for sure. I would say, though, this. Mike, because here's the thing. Bijan and Taylor both have, I don't know if it's equal, but similar chances to tear their ACLs, right?
Yes.
So that being said, if they're both healthy for the remainder of the season, who is RB1 in Dynasty today?
If you were to guarantee me Bijan's healthy for the rest of the year,
yeah,
and he goes and performs well at the combine,
all the above, yes,
locked in 101 next year, you can do all those things, and he goes to a decent enough situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not something like Pittsburgh where you're like, fuck, if they only had an offensive line, Najee wouldn't suck. Or the Rams where it doesn't matter who plays running back, you're probably going to suck.
We're doing a 2-part question now because, all right, go ahead.
Right? But if you can guarantee me all those things, Bijan RB1.
Okay, because here's my thing. I'm glad you answered that because I was trying to make you answer it. I like to do this. I like to narrate and make Mike get to the points that matter. Here's what I'll say. The one thing, like running backs are going to be so afterthought, it's kind of getting funny to me. But I think the one thing this year we have to acknowledge, even though Breece tore his ACL, y'all got to stop with the fucking landing spot. Get the fuck out of here. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's seeding work to fucking Pacheco last week.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker went to a horrible landing spot. He's not worth rostering. He's fucking RB3 on Keep Trade Cut. Breece Hall was RB1 going to the Jets. People can say the Jets suck. DeAndre Swift has been in the conversation of top 5 running back for how many years on the Lions? The fuck out of here with landing spot. If he's healthy and he makes it all the way through the season, Bijan is RB1. I don't care about the landing spot. And I think if he's healthy for the rest of the year, he's going to end up with first round or at least early second round draft capital. You can basically lock it in.
The landing spot matters to me as far as offensive line goes, and that's about it. Adam, we had this conversation at the draft.
If you have one as bad as the Rams or the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a totally different conversation. But Bijan will be one of these guys that sees the field all 3 downs. No,
I said that shit to you directly back in late April, early May about our debate. I still love Cam Akers and I still wanted him to be good. But one of the biggest concerns is I look at this offensive line, Adam, and they got fucking worse and they didn't do anything to address it. Now, does that mean they can't develop? No. Sure. No, it doesn't. Maybe they find a nice gem or they develop somebody to pull somebody up who's been playing well for them in practice. But when I look at some of these offensive line, man, the ones that aren't performing, I'm not shocked. And that is something I think as a fantasy community, especially when we're already fickle on running backs, right? The landing spot as far as offensive line does mean a fuck ton. Now, overall offense, granted, you just
but here's the thing:
the Breece Hall, the Kenneth Walker thing, that shit is always been overblown.
I would agree if you could tell me we know all this in the offseason. We knew the Rams O-line was going to be a problem. We knew the Steelers were. People thought Seattle's offensive line wasn't good. Charles Cross is great. That offensive line's better than we thought. The Jets, same thing. Every year we don't know what the offensive lines are going to be.
But that's also a thing, right? What did Seahawks do? They invested into their offensive line through draft capital, premium draft capital. What did the Rams not do? Invest anything into their offensive line.
Correct.
What did the Steelers not do? Not invest anything of premium draft capital into their offensive line.
Yeah, they didn't have much to do.
What did the Bears not do?
Right.
Invest premium draft capital into their offensive line. Things that we know are bad. What did Washington, also another one that has offensive line problems, they let an all-pro guy go in fucking free agency. Shout out Brandon Scherf, Iowa. You're fucking amazing. Still love you. You're awesome. But they let him go to the Jags for nothing just because they're Washington and, Snyder gonna Snyder.
Yep. JB, I had to get your question out of there. My bad. Jay, how do I convince my home league to convert to best ball this season? Did it for me. So here's what – if you're going to go to best ball, best ball and lineup are so different. The only way is if you're going to actually redo everything. You have to have a totally brand new startup, in my opinion. I personally, for me, I would never take one of my lineup builds and say, let's go to best ball. I'm not going to do that because everything I've done in lineup is different and antithetical sometimes to what I'm doing in best ball.
I think what you do is you do something like every time we get an expansion team in one of the pro leagues, right? They have an expansion draft. So maybe
Jags
you go
and Panthers.
Maybe you go hey, the top 12 guys on your team you can protect, right? And everybody else gets cut and thrown in the startup pool, right? Something along those lines. Where you get a little bit of the old school Dynasty and what you've already built to this. But, hey, we're going to best ball, so everything else is fucking fair game here, boys.
Well, so there you go. The answer would be, one, to convince them. Tell them about attrition. Tell them about not setting lineups. Tell them there's a strategy piece to it. Whatever you got to tell them, there's so many different ways to sell them.
The biggest selling point is you get to do everything that you love about fantasy football without all the things that you hate, which is fucking Sunday mornings or watching some guy go for fucking 30 points on your bench because you were oh, it's going to be raining today. I don't want to start him in a bad weather game.
Right.
Whatever the fuck we talk ourselves into and out of all the time. Every decision that we make on start sitting the analysis that inevitably is going to be wrong. Bench this guy. He's a piece of shit. Then he goes for 20 points. Well, Bob Tunyon's never done a thing in his life. Gets 12 receptions. Fuck.
Right. Those are the negatives. But the problem is I am not one to push back. I'm pretty much somebody that's going to go with the flow. You tell me what it is, I'll adapt. I would be one that's not really a fan of going to best ball, and I love best ball from a lineup perspective. So just be prepared for, like, you and I have tried to change league dynamics to how many different ways, and it's just a lot of people just tend to push back on change. They just don't like it. So
they lose their fucking minds.
I wish you the best of luck, man. Tell them to come watch our show. They'll get a lot of shit out of that too. Good evening, fellas. Would you rather keep versus trade in a rebuild? Hawk and Dulcich.
I'd trade Hawk because he'd actually fetch you something.
I mean, so right, Mike's.
I don't think Dulcich fetching you anything. I mean, it's been nice to start the season, right? But it's 2 games. People are still kind of waiting and seeing, that kind of thing, right? The value just, I don't think anybody's paying you
For Dulcich?
anything that's really worth me wanting to move Dulcich. You know what I mean? Like what?
Well, so
maybe get a mid to late second at best.
But here's the thing,
Does
right?
that really do it for you?
Here's the thing. I think we talk about this, like, tight end seems to be one of these ones that everybody freaks out and is concerned about when they're rebuilding, because it's such a shallow position. It's like, if I trade away Darren Waller, George Kittle, or whoever this is, right? Like, where will I get one back?
All over. David fucking Njoku.
The whole idea is you get a Dulcich. And to Mike's point, when I get a Dulcich, what I'm not going to want to do is sell him for a re-roll in a spot where you are waiting to see what that tight end does, and he may never even fucking pop. Like, I want Trey McBride probably today over Dulcich, but is it close? Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. You know, like, that's the point. I wouldn't re-roll Dulcich into the same thing, right? And that's probably what you're going to get is a late second, mid-second. And next year, we know it's Michael Mayer or fucking you'll see what happens. So I'm holding Dulcich unless someone's really paying up. But ultimately for both of these, in rebuilds, everything I do is based on cost. These guys both are fucking gone if the right offer comes to me. I don't care in a rebuild about players, about anything, about positions. All I care about is getting more value on my team over and over and multiplying assets so I don't consolidate. And then when it's time to push in my chips to win, I'll fucking figure out how to make the roster fit if it's a lineup league. But I guess that's the best way I could answer the question.
Talk to him, buddy. Amen.
That's what we're here for, man. Let's see. Let me talk to who has questions? I got a lot of just comments in. Here we go. Jeremy Clark. Rebuilding Superflex. We selling Cousins? If so, what compensation am I looking for? Yes, as long as you can actually get the right value. I'm not sure you can right now on Cousins. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm asking a first and a second, or a first and a second worthy player, but the first is definitely a must.
I'm with you, but I don't know how many people are really going to do that, man.
In the land of quarterbacks right now, Adam, like, I don't know, man. I'm looking around the league where I need quarterbacks, right? Even in best ball leagues where I'm like, fuck, man, is Mac fucking going to play next week?
Dude, let me tell you how crazy quarterbacks
Carson
are.
Wentz in a best ball. Fuck. Russ is killing me. Stafford's dog shit.
Can I tell you why this is something that I think is – you're right. If I can get a legitimate first and a second back, I'll move them in a rebuild. But I will say, like, I'm not forcing it because here's the thing, right? What's the market telling us? Like, Kirk Cousins is just this criminally valued for the rest of his life. It's just a wrap. Mike, right now, he is sandwiched in between on Keep Trade Cut, Daniel Jones and Mac Jones. What are people paying for Daniel Jones? Realistically,
Nothing.
Okay. What are people paying for Mac Jones?
Come around. Nothing.
Mike, this is the point. Dude, if you can get a first and a second, I will do it. But I'm telling you right now, I think you're going to be very, very surprised by how grim the offers are coming in. So
if it is just
first and a second is what you're looking for, but here's to Mike's point. Do not sell him cheap. Don't do that. Don't
sell for just a late first, generic first, right?
I wouldn't do that, man.
If it's a first that could potentially be mid to early, right? You're looking at one of these guys who's
right,
maybe 7th, 8th right now, and they're like, I need quarterback help. This is the last piece to put me over the top. If they think fuck Kirk Cousins is the last piece and they want to give up their first for it, 9 out of 10 times, Adam, I'm going to make that gamble. Right?
Yeah,
I will do
I'm
the
gonna
one
bet
for
against
one on
them.
the first.
Sure.
I'm going to bet fucking against you. And if I lose, I lose. I don't lose big, but I lose out on what I think I should probably get for Kirk Cousins. But if I win, I just walked into a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young or a fucking Jahmyr Gibbs
Correct.
or, a Jackson Smith and Jigba or whatever the fuck, in that earlier top 5 range.
Yeah.
Top 6 range. Yeah.
Last point I'll make on that is understand your league. Mike, there's a league I'm in right now where I have basically played up quarterback trading for forever. Like in the startup, I took a bunch. I've always had plethora, and I've moved them and got this great team.
Yeah.
Going into this year, I did so much of that, it was just Stafford and Dak. And then now when an injury happens, the market is so fucked up on quarterback that you can't get back in. So I think one of the things to keep in mind with that is, like, understand your league, because if quarterback is that valuable, don't sell short, because you're not going to be able to get one back if you get a late pick and don't land one in the draft.
I feel you.
Anyway, so Lionel Lannister, 12-team Superflex PPR, half tight end premium, start 10 lineup, need tight end. Ertz owner wants his own 23 second back for him. It's likely the 202 at this point.
No.
I would say if this is the one piece that's keeping you from, like, winning, I would just need something slightly back. Like, I'm not going to send this straight up, even in that scenario. And if it's not that scenario, I'm definitely not doing it.
Nope. The way the tight end landscape is, too, like,
what would you rather try to do? Because I think the question here is better answered by saying, let's try something different.
I don't mind getting Ertz, right?
Not for this price, though.
Not for this price. One, you hold the cards, you hold the leverage, because it's his fucking pick and he's rebuilding and his team is dog shit. So, you want to sell me Zach Ertz for the 202?
Let me look.
Like Adam said, I need something else.
Lionel Lannister also, can you drop who your tight ends are currently? Like, is this one of those where you're super desperate? Like, what's going on here? Because this is too much to pay for Zach Ertz. So, like, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm trying to give him something if he doesn't want this pick back. But you have the leverage because it's his pick and he wants to rebuild.
Yeah. I'm asking for more.
Yep. So let's see here. Traded CMC, Taysom Hill, a 24 second, a 23 third for Dalvin Cook, Cooper Kupp, Everett in Superflex best ball thoughts. Mike, it's not hot takey to say Kupp over CMC, is it? In best ball?
No.
I was going to say.
No.
Is it even?
No, I still probably want the Kupp.
I agree. So, okay. Then you're talking Dalvin Cook. What piece on that other side? Does Taysom Hill, a 24 second and third, even equal Dalvin Cook in best ball? No.
Not even
so
close.
You fucking destroyed it.
And you get a free Gerald Everett and like a free half of Dalvin Cook.
That's what I was going to say. I could stop at Dalvin Cook, and every piece of Dalvin Cook you got plus the extra is just well done, buddy.
Though some people are absolutely over the moon with the Christian McCaffrey thing in San Francisco, and I don't know, we kind of talked about it on Sunday a little bit on the recap. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily better from a fantasy standpoint for Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, the offense is better.
Yeah.
It's more scoring opportunities, but the volume I don't think is ever going to be like what we were used to with CMC, right?
I think it's better because of how bad the situation was, and really they weren't utilizing him like the old CMC.
Yeah.
So I do think it's better. I think to your point, though, the reality is I think the giant upgrade everybody's trying to give it is probably blown out of proportion because touches will come down. The offense has Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and fucking George Kittle. And it's also a quarterback that's not really going to support 4 fantasy weapons, right? So I think
I would definitely, side note though, if I had CMC, I'd be exploring to see if there's anybody who's on the opposite side of it, right? Who's going like, I think this is a great thing for CMC, like San Francisco offense. Holy fuck yeah! And then seeing if I could sell him for an increased price of where he actually should be. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's I think the thing. I think it's an upgrade for CMC. I just think that majority of people are going to be so overblowing how much more valuable it is. I mean, because he's going to have way more scoring opportunities, and that's a zone like that fucking run scheme has put Devontae Freeman as the top scoring running back. So like,
correct.
There's a scenario where it's really good. I just think it might be blown out of proportion a little bit.
But Devontae Freeman also didn't have like 3 really good weapons that he had to compete with for touches and shit too. You know what
Agreed.
I mean?
It was just him and Julio.
Yep.
So I'm worried about my 6-1 team. Brady, CMC, Swift, D-Hop, Amon-Ra, Kelsey, ETN, Damian Pierce, Montgomery, Lazard, Thielen, Juju, J-Rob. Okay, so Val's is the GOAT. Now the question, I'll put it over ahead of you, Mike, is what should I do? So here's what I'll say. Is this one quarterback? Because I'm assuming it's not a Superflex. You only listed Brady. So in one quarterback, I'm not worried.
You got the best tight end. Okay.
Cheat code.
You got 2 top running backs. You got a wide receiver who just came back off suspension who just got force-fed 1 billion targets.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra, yes, unlucky this last week, but we've seen Amon-Ra's good. ETN is coming on, and I am becoming a bigger and bigger Damian Pierce fan. And then you just get Monty for depth.
Well, Mike,
Lazard,
here's the
whatever,
thing.
Thielen, Juju's nice.
Here's the thing.
J-Rob now getting traded to an actual.
The end of this is you had a handcuff, which is something Mike and I don't do, but it played out perfectly for you. You now have J-Rob in the Jets offense, which we've seen has been actually blocking pretty well and is a running scheme that you want a part of. And now ETN's going to be let loose because there's no J-Rob even there. So, like what you saw last week with ETN, that's going to look good. Go ahead.
The only thing that gives me pause about the team is the lead at the quarterback position. You know what I mean?
The Jets?
No, with Brady being his quarterback, right?
Right. I would say that, Vals, I would say that the quarterback would be the thing to explore. But one quarterback, man, it tends to be that like the price to get quarterback is always more than it should be. Personally, I think I'm just going to chill unless you can find a valuable trade that makes sense at quarterback. I think your team's in great shape, and I think 6-1 speaks to that. Like I wouldn't be too worried, honestly.
I mean, the volume's there for Tom Brady. It's just the efficiency is not there. Like putting it in the fucking end zone just has been rough for them. I don't know why.
Ryan's talking to the people. Can we get some subscribe buttons smashed? Real quick, we'll answer that question for you. I can't really answer that. I hope you guys do. Let's see here. Need them likes too, Dynasty says. What is a good pivot from Akers? Patty wants to know.
Nothing at this point. Like,
what are you going to get?
It's rock fucking bottom, man. Who's giving you anything worth a shit for Cam Akers?
I haven't had a single offer that was even close. We told Zach, shout out Zach if you're in here, to not take it for Pierce, and I think right now no one's offering you Alec Pierce. So,
R.I.P. to him too.
I honestly don't know what the answer to this question is. I think I just would rather hold unless someone's really going to pay up or you got a truther, because I just don't think you're going to sell for anything good.
Sell on the first piece of good news that you get, right? Like he gets traded somewhere and somebody believes in it. Like,
yep.
Perfect. Now's my time. Maybe I can get something.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't think you're getting shit. As long as he's inactive on the Rams, no one cares.
Yeah, appreciate it, T-Rock. We do have 17, so hit the refresh probably. But if there's 29 people, we should have more than 17. But no, you guys are doing a great job. We appreciate everybody here and all the questions. We don't have an episode to get to after this, so we'll make sure to get all your questions answered here tonight. That being said, don't be dicks and start fucking throwing in 50 questions, because we have a lot of questions we still need to get to.
You set yourself up for that one.
I know, but that's why I had to preface before I answered. I was like, oh, shit. Mike, guy like, if it was a bunch of mics in the chat, I'd be going crazy right now. Fuck this guy. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Would you guys trade Kyler for Justin Fields, a mid and 24? Oh, Mike, you know what's funny? We just did the trade show, Ryan. I'm not going to spoil anything. but there was a Fields and Kyler deal where there was other pieces. I'll say this. This deal here is much different. If you're getting Fields and a mid-23 first and a 24 first, Mike, I think I might actually do this.
I'm doing it too. By Kyler.
I will say the one thing that does give me not a 100 million% smash is start 9.
Mm-hmm.
So that does make it closer. Like in start 9, that's the smallest type lineup you're typically going to see where it's all about the studs. So a lot of times, like, now I'm not talking about this trade in general, but as a whole, you kind of want to consolidate more in start 9 because it's such a small starting roster. But even in start 9, Mike, I think this is where I'm still probably okay taking the Fields first and the 2 firsts. Talk to
Justin
me,
Fields. Justin Fields' first 4 weeks of the season, right? Everybody's panicking, not looking good, right? His finishes, as far as fantasy goes, 23, 28, 32, 25. Not a lot to get excited about. We're looking like assholes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then we get week 5. Justin Fields comes back and gives you a QB 12, so he's QB 1 on the week. All right, it was 1 week, maybe got lucky. Last week, QB 9, okay? All right, we're feeling a little bit better about Justin Fields. Last night against the fucking Patriots, against one of the greatest coach of all time, especially defensively, who schemes up how to take away fucking people. What's he do? I'm thinking this game is going to be a shit show. Mac Jones is not healthy. Justin Fields and the Bears offense. Fuck, I don't even want to watch this thing. What's Justin Fields come out and do? QB fucking 5 on the week. So, we're back. We're fucking back. Justin Fields is back.
I will say, though, this probably does come down to your comfortability with Fields. Like, I think that's the truth of the matter here. Like, if you are comfortable with Fields or you are bullish on Fields like Mike and myself, you're going to do this. But if you're someone that's like, yeah, he's running well, but I just don't see him as a long-term solution, I think you may struggle to take it. My advice, though, even in that scenario would be to get uncomfortable and take the value and roll that and see what you can do with it later.
Fields and Kyler have the same exact top 10 finishes on the year so far. So.
I mean, the main difference in Dynasty, I think, is that even though Kyler or Cliff may be gone, Kyler has a bag where, like, the Bears situation and how bad Fields look like might scare you off long term. But to your point, like,
from a fantasy perspective,
right now,
first, and then I go, yep, I'm good, man. I'm good with the down tier.
T-Rock being T-Rock, Mike will give you 4 first for Fields.
I might.
Here we go, Patty.
Kenneth Walker, RB1. You knew it was coming at some point, right?
Where do you have him? Let me ask you.
Top 5.
Okay,
Top
but
5.
Can I get a more dialed-in answer than that?
JT, Bark, Swift are my top 3. JT 1, Swift, Bark, if you want to make the determination at 2 and 3, don't really give a shit. I think I'm still going to go, we just talked about it, but CMC at 4 off of name value, appeal, and then Kenneth Walker RB5. How about that?
Okay. I have Kenneth Walker higher than you do, but I get you, man. It makes sense. Keep trade cut is super reactionary, but what the fuck, dude? Bro, keep trade cut, and you know how much I love Kenneth Walker. I've been a staunch, like, screaming at folks about Kenneth Walker. He is the 11th overall player in Superflex.
Kenneth Walker is that kind of stock that you want to buy, right? Not for fantasy.
You don't want to buy it today.
You don't want to buy it today.
If you had it, you are loving it.
You wanted to buy back in May when we told you to buy back in May. But that fucking
2 Kennys,
graph, man,
1 draft, buddy.
That keep trade gut graph is like this, and then you get a little dip because of Rashad Penny bullshit, and then straight to the motherfucking moon, right? Kenneth Walker's Dogecoin. I don't think he's gonna fucking have the fallout like Dogecoin, but goddamn.
What's crazy is, though, with running backs dying, I feel like it's kind of pushed him up, but it's also insane. Anyway, he's RB3 on keep trade cut. I think for me, I would go JT RB1, and then I would do tier 2 with a 3-way tie of Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker, and DeAndre Swift. And For
After
me,
you're going to go CMC?
CMC would be tier 3 for me. And now, obviously, that's a dynasty ranking. As a contender, I think CMC.
Travis Etienne?
I think Travis Etienne's in tier 3 as well.
Okay.
The trade of James Robinson and how they've been utilizing him and how he's shown, absolutely should be in that conversation. All right, so let's get back to questions, because if not, I'll just start fucking. Mike and I, here's the thing you're going to find out. Mike and I could just talk about Dynasty and all this shit forever. Like, I'm not exaggerating, forever. Eternity.
Yeah. On
a failed contender, what would you be selling Ramondre for, Jay Jackson?
I think I'd move off him for a random mid to late first.
I was going to say, but
early
can you get a first, do you think?
That's what people are asking for, man, when I inquire about Ramondre, right? And this is where I'm at.
Here's the thing, though.
I told you I'm trying to sell Breece Hall on a contender, right? And
dude,
dude keeps trying to pump Ramondre in there, and it's just like a non-starter for me. Now, it might be my Ramondre hate, but this is where the people are at as far as their values go. So
okay, so let me ask you this. If running backs are dead, why the fuck are we paying a first for Ramondre?
I don't know. I don't know.
If running backs are alive, why the fuck are we paying a first for Ramondre?
Know, man. I'm not.
You're not. I would say this. I think that I would be looking for more like 2 seconds or a second in a youthful second range player, you know, because it's going to be hard to get 2 seconds a lot of time. Liquidity doesn't necessarily allow that a lot.
Start at first, though, man. Yeah, I'm with it, but start at a first. Start at a first, because
listen, if you can get a first, please go ahead and get the first. I'm not trying to tell you don't take what's a steal, but
might be surprised.
Yeah, T-Rock's basically saying you might be able to get a 24 first, Jay. I mean, listen, you might be able to. I'm cynical on the matter, but maybe you can. In a rebuild, what are you selling Kenneth Walker for? 23-4. Okay, so here you go. I'll tell you this.
We just had one of these too.
We had one of these on the trade show. I'm not going to spoil it, but I liked what happened on the trade show because he was getting his picks back. So I'll say this. From a generic standpoint, Mike, does a 23 generic first and a 23 generic second get it done for you?
Generically? Fuck no. Not a chance.
Okay.
Sorry.
And that's where I was going to say, man, like, what do you need? Because here's the thing. I don't know that given the running back market, you're going to get someone to pay more in the first and a second for running backs at the moment at all.
And that's fine. If that's the case, then I'm holding. But
and that's
you better
where
come with at least 2 first or piss the fuck off.
So, Mr. B, I think that's where, like if you really need to get the points off your roster, I would try somewhere else, because I think Kenneth Walker is one I'd rather hold than sell light.
Give me an Olave and a Javonte Smith.
Okay, but those are guys that are going to go for first apiece, right?
Mm-hmm. Give me a Devontae Smith and a George Pickens and something.
Would you take a Devontae Smith in a first, late first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would.
What about? Let me ask you this:
if I'm worried about this running back thing, right? Plus to get the points off my team.
What about let's talk about some of these guys that people are going to be worried about trading or worried about like on their team. Like what if it was a first and Elijah Moore? What are you doing? No. I think so too. Well, I get a ton of Elijah Moore questions, and I keep telling people I love the talent, but I'm not letting somebody get a bailout because they want to move on from Elijah Moore. So
yep, for sure.
Let's see. What about in best ball? Is it still 2 firsts?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I love Kenneth Walker. I'm not paying 2 firsts in best ball. Like I'm not going to do that. And it's
don't
not
have to.
And it's not because that I don't think he's worth it. In best ball, I'm just not going to consolidate 2 firsts for anybody that's not a top tier quarterback. I'm just not going to do that ever again.
That's for sure. But some of these best ball teams too, where I got like a late 23, and I know this team's probably going to be good in 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at least giving it consideration, man. If I'm going to lock in a guy who could potentially be a top 5 running back on the year. So
I want to believe ATM has a crowd of people he paid to applaud instead of that soundboard.
It is a crowd of people, actually. They're just on the casting couch.
Yeah, the casting couch over there. The crowd of people is in the chat and watching the stream, because we appreciate all you guys tapping in and keep asking the questions, even though Mike probably wants to kill me right now. I don't give a fuck. We're doing this. We're answering
You did
questions.
this to yourself.
That's okay. I'm here to stay. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. All right. What's up, guys? In a rebuild, would you trade Saquon for Breece? So let me say this. No. I just traded Saquon for Swift, and I think that was where it was close for me. But because Swift, I think, comes back this year, I did that one. This, I think I probably wouldn't do.
Nope.
Let me say this. I think on the value perspective, it's correct. But I just, because Breece is done for the year, I think you have the right to ask for a plus, and you should get a plus. Is that fair, Mike?
Yep.
Okay.
For sure. Yep. 100%.
Okay. And the other thing with, let me say this last part with Saquon. I want to move him, but if there's a running back out there that I'm going to bet on breaking the age mold, it's Saquon Barkley.
It's antithetical to what we did last year with Derrick Henry, and look how that worked out for us.
There you go.
I apologize.
Just got off a call going over our warp process with Dynasty Barry. Update coming soon. Okay. Listen, man, Dynasty Barry and I have been talking quite a bit lately. We got him in the Discord. We're going to probably get him on a show at some point down the road. We got so many people to get on shows. We got a great group at Destination Devi here at South Harmon. The fact that, I've heard that Koopa Troopa and Dynasty Barry are working together, man, that gets me excited, like.
Got me excited, right? And then our guy JB's in there chiming in too.
Dude, I watched all that going on, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have gotten Barry to, come join our shit sooner, just because, I don't know, regardless of our shit, I just enjoy seeing people passionate that are smart. Like, you and I can't do the shit they do. Let's just call it what it is. That's not our forte. We fucking that's not me. So I'm glad to see that they're working on shit like that, man. It's exciting for me. Let's see questions. Oh man, we're almost out of here, Mike. Look at this.
Almost, and you're jinxing it again. You're a fuck.
Setting you up for the Patreon plug. All right, patreon.com/South Harmon. $1 gets you in the door. That gets you the generic stuff. $5 gets you our needing to be updated rankings, a bunch of other stuff. $15 gets you in the Savage tier. For $5, you get all the Patreon, live streams and everything. But if you're interested, come check it out. Promise you won't be disappointed.
For sure.
All right. 2 Kenny's episode was the reason that I have 3 shares of Kenny Walker. Thanks, guys. Mike, you're welcome. Glad that you listened. A lot of people were pushing back on Kenneth Walker. One of the few dubs we have right now.
I love that fucking tweet, man. Still lives in infamy from a prominent fantasy analyst on there. If you draft Kenneth Walker over Drake London, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, you order a burger at a 5-star steakhouse. And yes, I order burgers at a 5-star steakhouse because I love fucking Kenneth Walker. Fuck them wide receivers, Adam. Fuck them.
I'll say this. There was somebody that told me, remember what you said. Remember the line. And that was about me saying that I still think that CeeDee Lamb will be more valuable than Drake London at the end of this year. And at the time, it was Drake London was playing well, and CeeDee Lamb went to Cooper Rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, how fucking... Listen, I think Drake London's a great prospect. I think he's going to be fine long term. But that stock is not one you want to have right now. I'll tell you what stock is just rising. Honestly, I think the most risen stock today in all Dynasty players is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. I think that's literally the case. Let me just go over keep trade cut, right? Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. Those guys were all valued pretty damn highly in startups. Saquon rose quite a bit too. I'll give you Saquon by a lot. But Kenneth Walker at 11, that's the most in my opinion.
Let's just say you go to keep trade cut and you put in just wide receivers and running backs, right?
Okay.
You don't have to scroll down to see Kenneth Walker's name.
I didn't have to scroll down there, but I just kept reading. But let me just say, if you take wide receivers and running backs, he is the 5th player.
You got to do a few scrolls on your old mouse wheel to get down to Drake London at this point.
Who?
Drake London.
Yeah, I got to scroll on my page to get to him, and that's without quarterbacks. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I got no problem with Drake London, but he just never should have been ahead of Kenneth Walker in our opinion.
I will say this, though. How about the rise for Mr. Chris Olave at the wide receiver position, though, right? This is, again, can't praise him enough. Jay Rich talked me into it. I'm glad I have so much fucking Chris Olave because of Jay Rich, man.
Shout out Jay Rich.
The 106, the 107, I'm gobbling 108. 109, I'm gobbling up all the Chris Olave I could get because of Jay Rich, and I'm very fucking thankful for him being on our stream. Third day, we're filling 7.5 hours or however fucking long we went, and having him on for as long as he did, talking me into Chris Olave.
You and I answered the bell to get down for the start of the day 3 draft, but yeah, he was imperative. I pushed back because of my Ohio State thing and just not believing. That's one. I'll say that's one of the guys that I don't have like almost any exposure to. I think I have 1 or 2 shares, and that was me being stubborn, and I'm wrong on that one. So currently, for what it's worth, when you take quarterbacks out, Jefferson, Chase, Taylor, Saquon, Kenneth Walker, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Breece Hall, which is going to continue to go down, I'd imagine, Travis Etienne, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, Chris Olave, man. So like Keep Trade Cut has him as a top 15 non-quarterback. Ooh. Man. So
do you have him on the bingo card of being the most valued rookie wide receiver out of this class?
I did not. Now let me say this. I did think there was a chance on the contending side he was the best, but I didn't think like dynasty value wise he would be the best. So
crazy.
Yeah, man. Crazy. I'm 6-1, 12 teams, Superflex, have Herbert, Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Chase, Justin Jefferson, Kupp, Adams already. I traded Goff and 223 first and a 23 third for Lamar and Darrell Henderson. League wasn't happy.
I wouldn't be fucking happy either. You just built a mob squad and you're out here jerking off in front of everybody about it. Like, hey, look at this. I'm roster baiting. God.
Let me say this. Let me say this little piece, man. I think the league not being happy is something that we have to get over.
Hashtag fuck them.
Like, honestly, man, like, dude, I'm in 21 dynasty leagues. You're in however many.
Nope, 30 plus.
Listen, if you want to play dynasty fantasy football, the whole idea with the deep benches and all that is to make people trade. The idea is to trade. If you think you're going to get into these leagues and not ever be pissed about a trade, like, don't play. Don't fucking play. And then also, with that being said, don't fucking come hollering at me about a couple trades that you don't like. Like, I could do the same thing back at you guys. I'm just not going to do that because it's part of the game. So
we did one on the trade show that I'm in, right? And it's not a trade that I made or was involved in. And what I tell you, I was like, I was so mad that this went down. But one thing I didn't do, bitch and moan to the commissioner, whine, make some big long fucking post about how upset I was. I just went, fuck, can't believe this guy got one over on this other guy. I wish I would have fucking been able to get one over on him. Good for him. Good for him.
Dude, I've seen it happen a million.
And I move on with my fucking life.
I've seen it happen a million different ways where it's either I'm a contender and someone else gets stronger and now is more competitive with me. I've owned picks and I'm like, this pick is going to be early, and I watch them make a couple moves and I'm like, how the fuck is this guy going to possibly be a mid to late now? Like, listen, that shit happens. So, like, league happy, not happy, I don't care. You guys figure out your feelings, but I'll say that this for you is a very good move.
Fantastic, man. Bravo.
The team you had there was sounding really sexy, and to add Lamar to that, way to go, man. You got to like that a lot. So I'm sure the league wasn't happy. All right, what is your strategy in an auction startup league? Just an overall idea.
We got a show over that.
Yeah. We do have a show for that. Let me answer it this way. I think the main thing is to keep a pulse on what's happening with players and early players. So, like, the players early, you need to kind of have an idea of what the budget is and what players should be going for in your mind. And early, if players are going for a lot, you just stay patient and you're going to have a hammer that's going to kill the rest of the league. But, you know, if there's some of these values happening early, like you're going to end up, if you don't press the button on guys early when those values are happening, you won't have a hammer at the end, and then you're going to be like, fuck. Like Mike and I have been there. You're like, damn, we have all this money and all the good players are gone. So it's not as simple as just a 1 or 5 even pointed answer, because it's a lot dependent on what your league mates are doing and with their money.
We did a couple shows about it, but the most recent one we did was actually with Ray himself, right? Episode 25 for the 4D chess. You can go back and check that one out. I believe it was like late June. Right after we did the auction league, the Royal Rumble with him, right? We talked about some of the auction strategies and how you need to adapt to your league and that kind of stuff. It's very fluid. So generally, like, I usually go in where I'm holding money, but we've also talked about in the past where, you know, if everybody else is holding money, then that becomes detrimental, or the same kind of reason if you're blowing all your money early and paying up. So don't do a T-Rock. There you go. There's the quick example. Don't get super drunk and spend all your money and get yelled at by your old lady.
Yeah, that's what T-Rock did. I wouldn't advise doing that. He got the bottle taken from him like he was a baby too. So, yeah, we got a couple more questions, but we got to get the fuck out of here. What are the current strengths of the 24 class? I know 23 is supposed to be RB heavy. You need to go check out 4D chess.
Last Friday's episode with JB, man. Go check
it out. We did the entire thing. It was 23 and 24. I'll say this.
With the guy to talk to about 23 and 24, right?
Yeah, Captain Jordan Backus. He was in our live stream here tonight. 24, the strengths of the class are pretty much everything, but I'm not going to give you too much. I think that we did a whole hour episode, and you deserve to go listen to that if you have this question.
Yeah, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't listen to JB help break this down, especially from.
You know what? This question I'm glad was being asked. The answer is yes. Yes, it is. I'm going to start working on that, but yes, absolutely, we will have a guest on the AMA show.
We'll have to get one on here. We had Brandon on. Brandon's filled in a couple times.
Yep.
You know what? We should. I'm going to try for next week, Adam. How about that? I'm going to see if I can get one lined up for us.
Me too. I got somebody I think that would be really good for us too. So yeah, let's work on. You know what, Jay? For you, next week we'll have somebody on there. The good news is Corey Schumer has arrived. We are way past time to get the fuck out of here. Corey, I'll say this. You were featured on the trade show, so I don't feel bad if you don't get a question in. But I'll say this. Everybody, we really appreciate you guys tapping in. We had over 30 at one point live at once.
Incredible. Everybody.
If you're getting value from the AMA, if you're getting value from any of our stuff here on YouTube, and you haven't subscribed, please do us a favor, go subscribe. That really helps us out tremendously. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're going to keep coming back, AMAs, answering all your questions, even if we're here too long. The trade show on Saturdays. Check out our stuff on Sunday, the recap. Also at Destination Devi, we do the start sit at noon Eastern. Also, check out our 4D Chess podcast on the Destination Devi radio. That comes out on Fridays. It's podcast only, but I'm telling you, we're going to keep bringing content to you. And like Jay asked for, we will bring a guest on AMA before you know it.
Hell yes. Well, we will work on that and try to get one on next week. We got a few people in mind, definitely. Maybe we'll have a multi-week of guests, right? Kind of nice when we get that third one on. We get to talk to some of our favorite people, and we get somebody else to take some of the questions. It's not always about us. Got to feature some people.
Listen, I like that, everyone's like, listen, we like you guys, but you need to get somebody else. We're getting sick of you guys. So for you guys, we will do that. We appreciate everybody, man. Thank you very much for coming in and showing love. Mike, anything you got before we get up out of here, man?
That's it, man. Check out this sweet-ass shirt that my wife got me, man. Look
Dude,
at that.
Oh, my gosh. We interrupt this marriage to bring you fantasy. Wow. Mike does have a pretty sweet wife, man. I haven't met her in person, but everything he tells me, he's got the best. Swift RB1 Stan signing out. Let me say this. He's not RB1, but I'm still a Stan. We're going to catch you guys later. We're out of this thing. Peace.